In Praise of Ignorance is by Hilliard Belloc. Hilliard Belloc is 20th century essayist. He became friends with the essayist Chesterton, dramatist George Bernard Shaw, and science fiction writer H.G. Wells, and the four friends came to be known as the Big Four of the Edwardian era. The major works of Hilaire Belloc include Cautionary Tales for Children, a poetry collection, and On Nothing, On Anything, On Something, a collection of essays. The present essay is paradoxical in nature. Ignorance is not a derogatory term here, rather, it's about knowledge. In Praise of Ignorance, it is about to which extent we are aware about our ignorance. So, it is basically about knowledge. As a Socrates quotes, I know nothing except the fact of my ignorance. A lot has been written on this topic in 20th century. Robert Lind has written Pleasures of Ignorance. A.G. Gardner has written in Defense of Ignorance. Light and humorous tone of this essay makes it a superb piece of art by Hilaire Belloc. The essay begins with the mention of Renaissance author Erasmus, who wrote in praise of folly. Following him, the author says he wants to write in praise of ignorance. In connection with the past, the author makes some comments about the present century. That we are not so free as Renaissance people were, and he is not so talented for the topic as Erasmus was. He invokes God to help him in his adventurous task because remark the scope and amplitude of the affair of ignorance, and vast the oceanic prospect of the things of which he knows nothing. He starts the topic, and we are startled at our ignorance and amazed at his scholarship. He begins listing the subjects in pairs: metabolism and eutychianism, isostatics and the greatest lymphatics, chronology and entomology. A list of countries of which the author says you might be knowing the name and shape on the map, but of themselves nothing at all. Of towns, of persons, very great persons about whom, beyond the name, we know nothing. Continuing the list, he says that examine yourself on genealogy, how much you know about the maiden names of Charlemagne's four great grandmothers, or who is the rightful king of England at the present moment, of if doubtful will of Henry VIII still have force of law, and what were the claims of Spanish Infanta to the throne of England, or who was the father of Zebedee's children? And many more, the author says that many more intricate questions are there about which we don't know anything. After listing these subjects, he gives us some situations where we become aware about our ignorance. And the first situation is of the examination room, which gives you a vivid revelation of your ignorance, which is the beginning of the learning. About examination room, he says, anyone who has sat for an examination has had a vivid declaration of his own ignorance. I have written answers to perhaps 100 examination papers in my time, and my attitude towards each of the wretched printed thing as it lay before me. What he says about the other examinees, dozens of other victims, each at his lit desk, and about the examiner, he has used the word underpaid invigilator glaring at us from the platform above. He says that about every question paper, I was always violently bewildered, loss of foothold, and sinking into the abyss. He talks about a question paper where he got the question of discuss the action of Baron Jarius at the Council of Blois. He says, I don't know anything about the Baron Jarius, or I heard about the council but nothing about the Council of Blois. Then he talks about the other question. Give the principal attempts at the trisection of the plane angle by the epicycloidal method. He says, I couldn't do so. Then the third question, mention in their order the places visited by Saint Paul in his nth missionary journey. He said nothing was doing anything except himself. He gives another situation of a young student of divinity in the exam room. This student was being tested for his qualification for holy orders. He was given 6 questions. 3 questions he couldn't understand at all, and the 3 questions which he decided to answer. The first question was, "What do you know of the Council of Chalcedon?" And he answered, "Nothing." Second question, was Solomon justified in the treatment of Apollinarians? He said, no. Then, about the third question, what is the distinction between the Kipnik and Augustinian attitude towards the Western patriarch? He said, none. Now, when he answered like this, sorry, no, none, nothing, having thus completed his paper, he went up and presented it to the invigilator, bowed and walked out. Now, what the other students thought about him, the other clericals around him envied the facility of his erudition, the rapidity of his completed task, his early liberation into the happy sunlight of an Oxford June. But the author tells us that this student failed in exams. Towards the end of the essay, the author says that we face adventures because we are unaware of our future. And ignorance is the very draft of beauty, as it's said in many times we have heard that ignorance is bliss. All the mystery and marvel of a wide campaign, seen from a height at evening, depends on our ignorance of the nasty people by which it is inhabited, their torturous and sordid ways. All our loves, all our hero worships, all our dreams of coming peace, all our visions of fortune are the fruits of ignorance. He concludes the essay by thanking God for his ignorance, which is going to serve him in this world because it is less than that of the most people, and it is by ignorance alone, the author says, that we advance through the rough seas of mortal life. It's only because of our ignorance of our future that we are able to do the adventures and we are going through our life smoothly in future.